Good morning, Minnesota DFLers, and welcome to the DFL Daily. Richard Carlbaum here, chair of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party. Great to be with you each and every morning, Monday through Friday at 10:45 to give you the message, the actions, and the tools to be empowered at this time. A couple of things happening I want to highlight tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow at noon to 4 p.m. in Crosby, you can come see the Crow Wings mobile office. Looking ahead, also ST56 in Apple Valley this weekend. We'll be hosting a neighborhood network coffee chat at Lunds and Barley's, and SC62 will be hosting a coordinated campaign door knock in Minneapolis. All of these and more can be found at dfl.org/events. A reminder that early voting is happening right now in the August 11th primary, so please get to out and vote early if you can. Vote for Peggy Flanagan for U.S. Senate. We have a few other primaries on the ballot as well. Matt Little, we need to get across the line in CD2. That's critical. So please get out there and make sure that you early vote. All right, let's get into today's topic. I'm joined today by Asha Carroll, Senior Director of Communications Research and Data. Asha, welcome back to the call.
Thank you so much, Richard, and good to be back today. We'll hop right in. This week's message is Republicans voted for skyrocketing healthcare costs and Democrats are choosing a different path. And if this seems similar to our message last week, that is intentional. You're going to hear us beating the drum here when it comes to affordability, when it comes to specific things like Republican votes and harmful policies, and their impacts on the basics: healthcare, groceries, housing, education, gas, you name it. We've addressed all of these, but this week, and you'll hear more from us throughout the month, healthcare is top of mind. So we'll dig into the talking points right here and keep a listen for the contrast in this. As I'm stating the Republican harms, I want you all to start thinking about what you're hearing from our Democrats as well, and we'll get into that later this episode. Healthcare costs continue to skyrocket. And for many Minnesotans, paying these bills has felt like another month of rent or mortgage payments. Really think about that, okay? When you sit down at the table and it's time to pay the bills, those healthcare bills are hiked up so much that it's like another month of rent or mortgage that's adding up throughout the year. Every Minnesota Republican in Congress, Brad Finstad, Pete Stauber, Tom Emmer, Michelle Fischbach, we talked about them last week. We're going to keep naming this harm. They voted for Trump's bill that drove up Minnesotans' healthcare costs, period. They voted to drive up Minnesota healthcare costs, and they chose Trump's agenda instead of helping the people they were elected to serve. And they made healthcare more expensive with that vote for over 20 million Americans. That's the power of what one vote could do. Republican leaders at the state capitol. This is not isolated to Washington. Folks right here in the Minnesota State Legislature have been just as bad. With hospitals struggling to stay open and the cost of healthcare and prescription drugs skyrocketing, they blocked a bill this session that would have helped keep hospitals open in Minnesota. This while right now, more than 23 rural hospitals in Minnesota are considered at risk.
That's right. Instead of helping Minnesotans, Minnesota Republicans helped big drug companies, pharmaceutical companies who profit from higher drug prices. When people are priced out of their insurance, their health insurance, it raises costs for everyone else. All of our costs go up. Based on projections resulting from the Republicans' big, beautiful betrayal of a bill, taxpayers will pay billions more in uninsured healthcare costs. Ultimately, what it means for working families is that more money paid to healthcare means less for everything else. The rising costs mean families have to choose between paying for healthcare and paying for basics like groceries or heat. That's not right, and it's not fair.
Meanwhile, Minnesota Democrats believe that healthcare is a human right, full stop. That means you can go to the doctor when you get sick without breaking the bank or having to give up your basic needs. And I'm going to say this next part. This is really important because we talk a lot about Republicans. We speak a lot about the Republican harm, and we hear over and over again from you all what I think is just a fantastic question, which is, what are we going to do about it? And so I just gave you the value statement. Now here's your homework. Richard will give you a call to action later this call, but here's some homework right now. Check out our DFL endorsed candidates' websites to get a look at their solutions to make healthcare and your life more affordable for you and your family. There's some great issue breakdowns from our candidates on their sites and more to come as we get closer to the election. So we are going to drop a link to their sites in the chat. If you're asking, what are we doing? What's the plan? That information is out there and there's more to come. And you're going to have to do a little bit of homework in that. I want you to think about all the way up and down our ticket and look for your local candidates as well. So you'll be able to customize that yourself. We have a great list of all of our statewides and a website, dfl.org/endorsed, where you can find out exactly who is running and what they're standing for.
So we've covered a lot today about how healthcare is being made much more expensive because of the Republican votes. I want to know which of the talking points we've talked about today resonated for you all. Please share one of those in the chat. It's useful data for our team. So which of the talking points that Ash and I have covered today do you feel like really resonated? It like struck a chord with you. Awesome. All right, let's move into the proof points, Asha.
You got it. Like always, there's a lot here. And I know we shared the big, beautiful betrayal stats last week, but we're here with some more to include in your communications this week from that bill and more. Here are three of the stickiest that I think tell a clear story. First off, Republicans cut $4.34 billion in Medicaid for rural Minnesotans. Okay, that's just the harm to rural Minnesotans here. And the story writes itself with this one. We're going to be feeling that cut over the next 10 years. I'm going to say that again. The harm the big, beautiful betrayal caused our communities is just getting going. It does not stop here. I said this earlier, but I will say it again. 23 rural Minnesota hospitals currently at risk of closing, and people are delaying their essential care. We are hearing that at the doors, and we'll tell you more about that tomorrow. That's proof point one. Proof point two, the GOP failure to renew the Affordable Care Act. We saw this play out late last year. Those tax credits, it drove marketplace monthly premiums up. And because of that, now a family of four making only $70,000 a year who is on the ACA marketplace is paying $3,182 more per year on average. I'll let you do the math on that. But out of that 70,000 household income, they're paying more than $3,000 more per year on average. So when we say it feels like another month of rent or another month of mortgage, that's what we're talking about. For some folks, it feels like more than that. That might be double what they're paying for rent or mortgage, and that's what they're sitting with as a result of those Republican choices. And as a result, this is my last piece here, Minnesota has experienced a more than 25% decline in ACA marketplace enrollments. That is tens of thousands of Minnesota families that have been forced to lose their healthcare coverage. They were left with an impossible choice. So there are people going without healthcare, again, as a result of this one vote or lack thereof. So check out the message memo, which we'll share in the chat for more proof points on how Republican healthcare bills have hiked up your family's costs. And again, we're going to drop all this in the chat for you.
Awesome. Let's move to quotes now. First, let's have one quick reminder about what Minnesota Republicans thought right after they voted to make healthcare more expensive for 20 million Americans. This is what Tom Emmer said right after they passed that bill. Quote, "A year from now, this will be immensely popular." They got that wrong. Tom Emmer, for the record, recent polling shows that the big, beautiful bill is has just 31% support. It's not popular at all.
And here's what Senator Tina Smith said when those Republicans were voting to gut ACA tax credits. And I think this one still stands today. Democrats want to work to halt the massive increase in health insurance premiums, right? There's our contrast again. We name the Republican harm. What do we want? We want to stop this. We know this is not right. We want to stop those premiums from going up. And so far, when we vote for that, when we push for that, Republicans have said no. Up and down the ticket, they are still saying no. Just last month, Trump suggested his idea of a solution. This one really got me. He said, just take out a loan to pay for your increasing healthcare costs. They literally want you to go into debt to pay for the problem they caused. That is not fair. and it's just bad business. So that's the contrast.
All right. So turning this week's message into action is the most important part of what we can do together. Our action today is simple. Share the graphics that we created. We got one of Emmer's quote and a few more naming the harm that's happening. Share in the chat where you plan to post them and tag the DFL when you do. And tomorrow, tune in to learn more about what we're hearing on the doors about healthcare. I got to tell you, we passed over 500,000 doors knocked this weekend as a DFL party. I am just so darn proud of us. We are about 228,000 doors ahead of where we were at this time in 2024. Think about that. And we're listening to people at the doors. We're doing the work. And that's what ultimately is going to deliver victory for us 113 days from now on the November 3rd midterm election. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. We'll see you tomorrow on the DFL Daily. Let's go win this thing. Thanks, Asha.